This is the SLC. It's a new, small, two-seater sports car from Mercedes and goes up against the BMW Z4, the Audi TT and the Porsche Boxster.
Well, that's what Mercedes wants you to think. Whilst it is true the SLC does go up against those types of cars, it's not entirely and completely new.
It's essentially a heavy refresh of the Mercedes SLK. So, along with the new name, there's a new front end with a larger grille, smarter headlights and big air intakes, while round the back there's a new rear bumper and LED taillights.
That's where the transformation from SLK to SLC really stops, because apart from these new dials and new screen here, and SLC embossed on top of the gear lever, it's pretty much identical to the old SLK. It does mean you get some really nice soft touch plastics and some really natty little air vents, but overall you get the sense that Mercedes spent all of their money on the outside, leaving them nothing to update the inside.
For a sports car, storage is pretty good, with the large glove box being a particular highlight. There's three versions of the SLC. Sport comes with 17-inch wheels, cruise control, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, while AMG line, like our car, gets 18-inch wheels, leather seats, a sporty body kit and suspension that's lowered by 10mm. Meanwhile, the Mercedes AMG SLC 43 gets a racy range of AMG branded equipment like a different body kit and a limited slip differential. All models get the metal folding roof that all SLKs have had, but for the SLC, it lowers or raises at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour, but only if you're stationary when you press the button.
Sports cars always come with compromises, and it's normally to do with boot room, but it's even worse on the SLC. Now, Mercedes say there's 225 litres on offer in the SLC. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? What they don't tell you is that when you open the boot and you've got the roof down, that's where the roof is, and it means you can't get anything out. For instance, my suitcase is completely jammed in there. So in order to get that suitcase out, I need to put the roof up. Brilliant. Seamless, eh? Now, to get this suitcase out, I just have to lift up the boot protector, which is perfectly straightforward, and take out the suitcase. Now, the space on offer is actually pretty good. It's very square, very usable, and there's more space on offer than there is in a Ford Focus. It's just a bit of a shame that it's all a palaver when the roof is down, because you don't get that problem with cars with fabric roofs, cars like the Audi TT Roadster.
Sun out, roof down, it's the perfect weather for a two-seater sports car. The SLC comes with a 2.1 litre diesel that can reach a claimed 70 mpg, two petrols and, for the range-topping Mercedes AMG SLC 43, a 3 litre twin-turbo V6 petrol.
It's raining. Typical British summer, eh? 1 minute the sun is shining and then the next time it's raining and I have to put the roof up. Anyway, now where was I? Oh yes, engines. Now, nestling between the racy AMG and the fuel-sipping diesel are a couple of petrols. Both are 2 litres. One has 181 brake horsepower and is badged SLC 200, and the other has a 242 brake horsepower and is badged SLC 300. It's only the 200 that comes with a 6-speed manual or a 9-speed auto. All the others come with the 9-speed auto, and it's amazingly smooth.
This higher powered 2 litre engine in fact replaces the old 3.5 litre V6 you got in the old SLK. And while it isn't as characterful as that engine, there's the same amount of punch and it's considerably more economical and cheaper to tax.
Now, Mercedes is trying to add a little bit of drama by fitting a sports exhaust system. Now, you get it on the 300 and on the 200 auto. Now, whilst it sounds great for a 4-cylinder, you really can't replicate the sound of a good old V6.
The biggest advantage of the metal roof is that when it's up, the SLC is quiet and hushed on the move. While the ride is a touch too firm and the body wobbles around when hitting bumps in the road, the SLC's handling always feels secure and there's little body roll. Mercedes says the SLC 300 should return 47 mpg, but we only averaged 28.5 mpg. So, how does it drive? With the change from SLK to SLC, has Mercedes taken the opportunity to make it fun to drive?
No, it's the same as the SLK. It's a shame really, because you look at this car and you say, that's a two-seater, rear-wheel drive, front-engine sports car, and it's going to excite me. But the SLC just doesn't really. The steering is direct, but really lacks feel, and even when you press the dynamic select button, it just adds more weighting to the steering. It doesn't add any more feel. The driving position is really very good. There's a huge amount of adjustment in the steering wheel and in the seat, but the SLC suffers from an old Mercedes character trait, which is an offset driving position. Now I'm looking straight ahead, but my feet are pointing over there, and it means that I'm sitting twisted, which really isn't very comfortable on a long motorway journey. And speaking of the driving experience, the interior, whilst it is very well made, is starting to look a little bit dated. This massive space for the audio system is in stark contrast to the Audi TT's cabin, which is slick and super modern.
In fact, the TT is a good point because not only is its interior more modern to look at and to use, but it's also more fun to drive and significantly cheaper to buy. Spend some time ticking the options list and the SLC muscles into Porsche 718 Boxster territory. Admittedly, the Porsche is less well equipped, but it's considerably nicer to drive.
Overall, you quickly realise the SLC is a very good cruiser, whereas the BMW Z4, the Porsche Boxster and even the Audi TT are more thrilling sports cars. And it's for that reason alone I can understand why you'd go for the diesel version. You may as well save some money if you're not going to be thrilled through country bends. It's a very good cruiser, the SLC, just not an out-and-out sports car. Transformation from SLK to SLC hasn't been as dramatic as I would have hoped, but whilst it's still not the most sporting car in its class to drive, it's still comfortable and easy to live with, and it's as stylish as it ever has been. But if you're interested in buying one, and I can see why you would, you need to check out its competition, and you can do so by clicking our review on the left for the Audi TT or the review on the right for the BMW Z4. Click at the top for our latest video and on our logo to subscribe.